Next on the 5 o'clock report.
I want more happy children in our country.
We will continue to work toward a day when the lives of all human beings are protected.
You are not forgotten any longer.
I didn't think I was going to make it.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
More than a half century of marching for life. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mark Webster. They came by the thousands from all over, united in their love for life at the 52nd annual March for Life in Washington, D.C. today. Outgoing March for Life President Jeannie Mancini.
Every year there is a different challenge, but it was sad, especially as a Catholic, to see the Biden administration have such a radical pro-abortion agenda, but it was also fun to see Americans reject that. I mean, that's what Kamala really ran on.
Among the speakers, Vice President J.D. Vance.
I want more happy children in our country. And I want beautiful young men and women who are eager to welcome them into the world and eager to raise them.
Also there, Senate Majority Leader John Thune.
We will continue to work toward a day when the lives of all human beings are protected, even when they're small, even when they're weak, even when they're vulnerable.
The march ended with a rally on the steps of the U.S. Supreme Court. Donald Trump's first trip as president took him to Swannanoa, North Carolina this morning to meet with victims of the damage wrought by the remnants of Hurricane Helene. Trump says he came there with a simple message.
That message is very simple. You are not forgotten any longer. We have a lot of things in mind, and we're getting the Army Corps of Engineers all set. You need your riverbanks fixed. You need a lot of roads fixed, and we're going to get it done in rapid time.
Survivor Kim West told Trump,
I didn't think I was going to make it, but we did make it out, and we just lost everything that we had. Didn't even have a brush for like 3 days.
Stop number 2 on Trump's trip will begin soon in Southern California as he tours damage done by devastating wildfires. Though not formally invited to meet Trump, California Governor Gavin Newsom, a frequent Trump critic, says he'll greet him at LAX.
I hope he comes with a spirit of cooperation and collaboration. That's the spirit to which we welcome him. I've said this many times, open hand, not a closed fist.
As for the fires, they continue to burn.
Crews are right now tending to hot spots. CAL FIRE did say that the strong winds did test some of the containment lines yesterday. There was a spot fire that broke out on the western edge of the fire line, burnt about 100 acres, and today they are going to continue monitoring those hot spots and battling it up from the air and right here on the ground.
CBS's Andres Gutierrez. A vote could come before the night's up on controversial Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth, who's one more Republican no vote away from rejection after 2 GOP senators balked during a procedural vote.
Maine Senator Susan Collins and Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski. Collins cites lack of experience, while Murkowski is saying that it's both lack of experience and those past allegations that made her decide not to support Pete Hegseth.
Fox correspondent Aisha Hasni. A wind gust of 114 miles per hour clocked as a major storm brought wild weather to the British Isles.
Much of Scotland is at a standstill, with the red weather warning stretching across the whole breadth of the country, taking in all of the densely populated central belt, including the cities of Glasgow and Edinburgh. Tens of thousands of households have been without power.
That's the BBC's David Wallace-Lockhart. More Hamas hostages are due to be released tomorrow as that tenuous deal between Israel and the Iran-backed terror group continues to slowly unfold.
The 4 are expected to be female, likely 1 civilian and 3 members of the Israeli armed forces. They'll be set free in exchange for the release of as many as 180 Palestinian prisoners.
That's correspondent Jonathan Savage. Israel is still waiting on details on the upcoming release of another 30 hostages, including which of them are still alive. And we'll wrap with some much more mundane economic news. Sales of existing homes fell to a 30-year low last year. Why?
High prices combined with high mortgage rates combined with ever-increasing homeowner insurance policy rates makes buying a home right now very difficult.
That's business analyst Jill Schlesinger. Still to come on the 5 o'clock report. Winter keeping its mittens on the lakes. The story behind something called CDPAP and getting ready for the big games this weekend.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. A little lake snow this evening in areas east of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Otherwise, it'll be partly cloudy, cold, low temps single digits. For tomorrow, a fair amount of sunshine in central and eastern Pennsylvania, a fair amount of cloudiness elsewhere with some flurries, high temperatures in the 20s. On Sunday, mostly cloudy, a bit of snow or some snow flurries, particularly in areas of western and central New York. High temperatures on Sunday in the mid-20s to the lower 30s.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin Williams. Now checking the stories making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. Schools closed north of Syracuse in the Lake Ontario snow belt today, and those snow bands aren't done with the region yet.
Another opportunity for lake effect snow Saturday night, Sunday, and Sunday night. And I think once again, the heaviest snow is going to be east of Lake Ontario and north of Oneida Lake.
That's WSTM meteorologist Peter Hall. Lake snow is made for some tricky driving in the Buffalo area this afternoon as well. It's called CDPAP, and it's a major healthcare controversy in New York State. That acronym stands for Consumer Directed Personal Assistance Program, and changes to the $9 billion Medicaid home care program are proving a bit controversial. It's set to be managed by a new company soon, replacing hundreds of smaller companies. And Governor Kathy Hochul says the state can save $500 million next year with that change.
This is a classic example of how not to do something in government. And now we're paying the price for this. New Yorkers are paying $9 billion, and I do not believe these people are getting $9 billion worth of service.
But longtime CDPAP user Agnes McCrae, who has cerebral palsy, tells Spectrum News she's concerned about how these changes might impact her care.
I love it because I'm in control of the hours, my health, and everything that has to do with me living my American dream and my best life ever.
The current state budget predicted about $200 million worth of CDPAP savings, but so far, a state budget official says that hasn't really been the case. The current crackdown on illegal immigration has created uncertainty for area agencies who aid asylum seekers. Gadechu Bashir is an immigrant himself, and he assists refugees through Catholic Charities, Family and Community Services in Rochester. He tells WHAM legit refugees are caught in the middle right now.
When we say stopping refugees is not American, because from the beginning, these refugees and immigrants were allowed and have been part of the country's fabric.
He says the refugees they work with have undergone a 2-year screening process with security, medical, and other checks. Now, a tough day at the Big Elm Volunteer Fire Department. That's in Tioga County, Pennsylvania. Chief Byron Wright tells WENY firefighter and rescue captain Roger Lathrop passed away while responding to a mutual aid call overnight.
Around 1:03 a.m. this morning, Roger was responding with the fire department, and while responding with the tanker, suffered a medical emergency and was found by other responders at the station here.
Big Elm serves several townships in the Tioga County area. Central Pennsylvania's Juniata College is readying plans for a multi-million-dollar project to give them a shot in the arm for the school's nursing program. Juniata Vice President Jim Watt tells WTAJ it's the new Gateway Center and it's badly needed.
We're not just going to have a typical nursing school, but we're going to have a nursing school that's going to work with real live nurses that are in the field working with real live patients. What it's going to do that I think is even more exciting is it's going to fill a significant need for our town and for our community. Rural health is a huge issue.
Adds Penn Highlands Chief Nursing Officer Jill Muir.
There's research right here in the Commonwealth from the Hospital Association of Pennsylvania that says Pennsylvania is one of the worst hit states, not only for nurses, but for all healthcare providers and professionals. My greatest gift was going to a strong nursing program where I was able to have those hands-on clinical skills. You get to be in there while you're learning, you're also taking care of people.
The college says it'll take about 18 months to move from groundbreaking, hopefully this spring, to grand opening sometime in 2026. A Southern Tier school sending some love to the victims of LA's wildfires. Students at Vestal, New York's African Road Elementary School crafted cards and friendship bracelets to send out west. Third grader Zemia Evert tells WBNG.
It feels good to help other people in need because even if they're far away, you're still showing love to them and showing that you care. And even if they're really far away, you still reach the news in your heart and you're showing the love that you give to them.
Adds her teacher, Liza Turner.
We thought this would be a perfect way to show kindness and caring and putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and showing empathy, which I think in all of our classes here at ARE we work on. So it was a great real life example for them to be able to make a difference.
Turner says about 500 cards and bracelets will be sent to kids who have been affected by those western wildfires. Well, from fire to ice, they're freezing for a reason at Montage Mountain Resort in Pennsylvania during the second annual Northeast Polar Plunge. Lakeland Junior Senior High School teacher Heather Cantando tells WNEP.
We raised about $5,300, and it really was just word of mouth, right? Our kids, some of them came last year, they saw how fun it was and they wanted to come this year, and then they were sharing their posts on social media and with their family and friends, and they are so excited to be here today.
Today's Cool Schools Plunge raised money for Special Olympics of Pennsylvania. Well, rallying around the flag, one bit of symbolic solace that victims of this week's block fire that destroyed several businesses and apartments in Ovid, New York, is a Buffalo Bills flag, which somehow survived the inferno encrusted in ice from water used to douse the flames. Felix Jordan and Ron Carmona ran the Italian Kitchen restaurant, one of the places destroyed, and that flag flew out front.
This is all us right here. The only thing that survived from the building. And we're going to keep it. If they don't win, I'd be really upset.
They tell WSYR they might try to get that flag to the team ahead of their game in Kansas City this Sunday for some inspiration. Well, yeah, football fans around the listening area have high hopes this weekend.
This is Bills Mafia!
Buffalo Bills fans in front of City Hall in an early morning appearance on NBC's Today Show. This fan summing up just what Bills Mafia is.
Bills Mafia is an extension of the City of Good Neighbors, Western New York. We love our team. Our team loves us back. It's a lifestyle. It's Buffalo.
NBC, of course, gave some equal airtime to other teams, including the Eagles.
Who's gonna win on Sunday? E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
This super fan will be sitting behind the visiting Washington bench.
As a fan, it's important. When they asked us to call, we answer. We want to hear us screaming in all 5 counties.
Eagles kick off Sunday at 3, Bills at the Chiefs at 6:30. Your nightly market report is up next, brought to you by Faithward Advisors. Wall Street closing lower this time. Investors took some profits to end an otherwise positive week. Some tech stocks pulled back, with Nvidia and Intel slipping about 3%. Texas Instruments tumbled more than 7% after its weak earnings outlook at the closing bell. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 140 points to 44,424. The S&P 500 fell 17 points to 6101. NASDAQ dropped 99 points to 19,954. Faithward Advisors, a Christian financial planning firm helping faithful stewards do more. Details are available at faithwardadvisors.com. This is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Hi, I'm Rob West with today's Faith and Finance Minute. Jeremiah 29:11 is a comfort to those who fear the uncertainty of the future. We can be confident knowing that God is our true source of hope. God promises to meet our needs, and He always keeps His promises. In Philippians 4:6, Paul gives us a prescription for confidence. He says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. In earnest prayer, ask God to align your will with His, and He will give you peace, and soon your fear of the future will be a thing of the past." We can help you learn to manage your money according to biblical principles when you download the free FaithFi app. You'll find it on our website at faithfi.com.
All right, thank you very much. Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, we'll tell you about a feline frequent flyer.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. This final weekend of January promises seasonable, reasonable temperatures, a bit of snow, a bit of sun, a little breeze, but overall not a bad weekend if you're going to be out and about enjoying some winter sports activities. The call for tonight, still be a little lake snow this evening in areas east of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Otherwise, it'll be partly cloudy, cold, low temps, single digits generally. For tomorrow, fair amount of sunshine in central and eastern Pennsylvania, fair amount of cloudiness elsewhere with some flurries, high temperatures in the 20s. On Sunday, mostly cloudy, a bit of snow or some snow flurries, particularly in areas of western and central New York. High temperatures on Sunday in the mid-20s to the lower 30s.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Finally at 5, the big blunder down under. It's a 7.5-hour flight to go from New Zealand to Australia, and a family who had moved from one to the other were waiting patiently for Air New Zealand to produce their cat, Mittens, from the cargo hold. But alas, no Mittens. Turned out Mittens was back on his way to New Zealand, his crate apparently having been hidden from cargo handlers handlers behind a wheelchair. Well, ground crews radioed the pilot, who then switched on the cargo hold heat so at least Mittens wouldn't need mittens. Once they landed in New Zealand, it was right back to Australia for the frequent flyer feline, a total of close to 24 hours in flight before finally reuniting with his family. Other than losing a pound or two, Mittens was none the worse for his extended aviation adventure, and the family says he seems more inclined to cuddle with them now. That's the world we live in for Friday, January 24th, 2025. Thank you again for joining us. Have a blessed weekend. I'm Mark Webster, Family Life News.